You can measure the size of an elephant. You can clock the speed of a cheetah, but you can't quantify the heart of a kings, queens, and in-betweens. Welcome to Dr. Boxing Talk. Stream starts now.
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
If I tell you I'm good, probably you will say I'm boasting. If I tell you I'm no good, you know one line.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. What it do, what it do, what it do. Good, great, grand morning to you wonderful, beautiful people, man. My brothers and sisters, brethren and sistren, boys and girls, ladies and lads, hermanos, mi hermanas, kings and queens and everything in between. Y'all know what time it is. The doctor's in the house. Let's get it. Let's get it, man. On this wonderful Memorial Day weekend, man, you know. Rest in peace to all our fallen soldiers, all our loved ones, and condolences to their family. Before we get started, let's go ahead and hit this prayer like we always do. Please join me and bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day. We thank you for the wonderful weekend. Hopefully we live through it, and we ask you that you continue to guide us into this weekend, you know, in a peaceful manner, in a humble manner, and in a whole manner. Let us go forth with joy, happiness, and peace, and give you the glory for every single moment that we exist. Yeah, Lord, we just ask for your continued guidance and protection and correction, Lord, and forgive us for all of our sins. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen, amen. We got Let's Be Real in the building. What's good, brethren? So it is Memorial Day. Memorial Day, man, you know? Shout out to everybody that made sacrifices, not just for themselves, but for others, family, friends, strangers included. Man, let's get right with this weekend review, man. We has a couple things to talk about, man. You know, we were live on Saturday. We did not go live yesterday. Had a gathering for my cousin's birthday, man. Happy birthday to my cousin. You know what I'm saying? My big cousin, you know, she in the 40s. So she doing her thing, man. You know, we had a little family gathering at a little restaurant. So it was fun. Good times, man. When you, every moment, you know what I'm saying? We live through the moments, and it seems like we don't appreciate them until they become memories. So just appreciate the moment. You feel me? Not to get too You know what I'm saying? Not to get too sentimental, but you know, do your thing, man, and make good memories. You know, make great memories. But so I got some things to talk about, man. First off, you know, we got the week of review, man. On Saturday morning, we were in Japan with it. You know, we woke up early, watched the fights. The headline was Angelo Leo versus Tomoki Kameda, and that was Angelo Leo, the IBF champion, 126 pounds. He was defending against his mandatory challenger, which is Tomoki Kameda, the Japanese contender, right? So we went over there, you know, he handled his business and he was victorious. I thought it was a close fight, but I thought it was a little closer than on my scorecards. It wasn't as, let me see, I had it 115, 113, but it wasn't like a super close 115, 113. It was close enough. But I'm not sure if it should have went to split decision, but at least they got the right decision, you know, and that's what matters the most, you know. And he was in Japan, he was in his opponent's territory, so it is what it is, man. So he successfully defended his belt, and I was annoyed, you know. Shout out to my guy Running Reb in the building, big member in the building. Yes, sir, man. One of the key components of the stream, keep this going and growing. You know what I'm saying, with the membership. Don't forget to smack that like button. You should do that already. Everybody, smack that like button. But with Angelo Leo, man, I was kind of annoyed because, like I said, he is at 126, and when he beat Tomoki Kameda, you would think he would call out the WBA champion at 126, Nick Ball, the WBO champion at 126, Rafael Espinosa, the WBC champion at 126, Stephen Fulton. But he didn't. He called out the 122-pound champion, undisputed champion, Naoya Inoue. That's cool, right? He's the money man. Everybody wants to fight Naoya Inoue. You know, of course, he's a revenue generator. He's an economy in himself, especially when it comes to the little weights, right? I'll say from 126 down to 112, everybody wants to fight Naoya Inoue. He's a cash cow, right? Everybody at heavyweight wants to fight Anthony Joshua, whether he's a champion or not. He's a cash cow, right? Everybody, I'll say from 175 to 154 maybe wants to fight Saul Canelo Alvarez, you know, Cinnamon, because he's the face. Not only is the cash cow of those divisions, but he's the face of boxing. He's a cash cow of the whole sport, right? And then everybody from, I'll say, like 147 to 130 wants to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, right? He's so he's the cash cow of those divisions.
Yeah.
So when somebody calls out Naoya Inoue, I get it, right? Because it is called boxing, aka the sweet science, aka hit and don't get hit, aka prize fighting. So the prize is the amount of money that you can get, the lucrative bag. I get it. However, when fighters talk about legacy, I don't think you need to separate the two, the money and the legacy, right? Because Naoya Inoue is a legacy fight, just like Canelo's a legacy fight for anybody. Bud's a legacy fight. Usyk's a legacy fight. Inoue's, you know, these guys are legacy fights and other greats like that. But to me, it is annoying when people say, oh yeah, I'm fighting for legacy, but then you have 3 other champions in your same division. And it's not just Angelo Leo. He's just the most recent to do it. Of course, Nick Ball. All Nick Ball does is call out Naoya Inoue. In fact, his last opponent, I don't even know how that was even legitimate. You know, I don't even know how that was approved by the WBA, you know, with President Gilberto Mendoza. I don't even know how they allowed him to fight TJ Doheny, coming off a stoppage loss at 122 against Naoya Inoue, moving up and consecutively getting another title shot at a higher weight division, coming off a stoppage loss, and that counted as a defense because Nick Ball is in such pursuit of Naoya Inoue that they're making it seem like, oh, we have a common opponent. Bitch, you fighting a smaller guy that just came off a loss that is old and already has 5 losses prior to fighting you. Why is that acceptable? You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying the pulse of boxing, when we complain about fighters fighting a guy coming off a loss or coming off a stoppage or being moved up. It's so funny that when we look at other weights, particularly the smaller weights, we don't notice these things because they're not as glamorous as divisions. So a lot of things go under the radar, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of them. But I think that's corny. I think Nick Ball should be calling out Espinosa, Angelo Leo, or Stephen Fulton. You know, and now Stephen Fulton, WBC champion, I give him a pass because he said that he's going to move up, you know, to 130. But he did say that, hey, man, you know, I want to unify. You know, I want to unify. If anybody wants to unify, let's do it. But I am moving to 130 because 126 is hard for me to make. So he gets a little pass, right? And not to mention, Stephen Fulton already beat Angelo Leo. Granted, it was at 122, but Angelo Leo's one loss came to Stephen Fulton, right? And then Espinosa, he's been I wouldn't say he's calling out the other champs, but he's been saying that he's willing to unify with the other champions as well. So, you know, say shout out to him, but nobody really calls him out. And I understand because I think he's the best at 126, but he still only has one belt, you know, and they're trying to move him up too. It's from what I'm hearing in the streets is talking that Espinosa and Top Rank, they're trying to move him to 130, or not Espinosa, but Top Rank's trying to move him to 130, you know, and I would assume that has something to do with Inoue at play because I don't think they want to have Inoue, who's also on Top Rank, fight Espinosa. Not saying that Inoue is scared or any of them are scared, but I just don't, I think that, you know, it's all about money, especially with the managers and promoter side too. So I could understand if they want to keep him away. Similar to Matchroom, right? Matchroom doesn't want Conor Benn to fight Jerome Boots Ennis. You know, I'm not saying that Conor Benn is scared, even though I don't believe him. I think he's disingenuous when he said he wants to fight Boots. He's like, yeah, give me Boots, 154, give me Boots, give me anybody. He doesn't even sound convincing. But I don't think Eddie Hearn and Matchroom want their two cash guys or two big stars to fight each other. That's why they're trying to push Boots to 154 and squeeze Conor Benn at 147. You know, that's just what I think, at least. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just what it seems to be. So similarly, I think that's what they're doing with Espinosa, El Divino, and Naoya Inoue. They're trying to keep them away from each other, and they're both on the same thing, but on the same promotion. But like I said, it just gets annoying, man. Like I think that, you know, Angelo Leo and Nick Ball, they should fight each other, right? They both clearly want Naoya Inoue the most. You know, Stephen Fulton's not really calling out Naoya Inoue. I mean, he mentioned that he would do the rematch and that he would want it, but, you know, he already fought Naoya Inoue, and like I said, plus he's moving to 130, and Naoya Inoue is not even at 126 yet. And that's the thing. Naoya Inoue is not even, his next fight's not going to be at 126. His next fight in September, good Lord willing, is MJ Akhmadaliev at 122. So Nick Ball and Angelo Leo are fighting over a guy who's not at 126, who's not going to be at 126 in his next fight, and it's not even conclusive or definitive that he's going to be at 126 in his next fight, even though the rumors are that his next three fights will be MJ Akhmadaliev in September, Nick Ball in December, and then Junta Nakatani in 2026, good Lord willing. But, you know, he was supposed to fight Sam Goodman twice. He ain't fought Sam Goodman yet. He was supposed to fight MJ Akhmadaliev a year and a half. He ain't fight MJ Akhmadaliev. So I'm saying things happen. Even David Allen Picasso Romero, he was supposed to fight him. He ended up fighting Ramon Cardenas. And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying that things change. So just because he has Nick Ball in the works and moving up to 126 in the works right now in the plans and the imminent plans, you know, I mean, the plans at this moment, you never know how it might change, you know. So the fact that they're banking on getting Naoya Inoue, not next fight, but the fight after, hoping he moves to 126, I think that's corny, especially right now. And Nick Ball, he's available. Angelo Leo just fought. You're all available. So if you really want Naoya Inoue, Angelo Leo, then fight Nick Ball, because according to the rumors is that Naoya Inoue will be fighting Nick Ball. Well, a good way to step in the way of those plans is to go and fight Nick Ball and beat him, and now you're a unified champ. In fact, you'll be the only unified champ at 126, and we know Naoya Inoue fights for legacy. So if that's the case, then he would definitely want to fight you, because now he beat the guy. He knocked out the guy that beat you, Angelo Leo and Stephen Fulton, and you have two belts. You have the WBA and the IBF, so you are definitively the best or the most accomplished in 126. So boom, go fight Nick Ball, beat Nick Ball, then you literally have Naoya Inoue, a better chance of getting Naoya Inoue spoon-fed to you. But they don't really want that, you know what I'm saying? They want to fight, I just wish they would tell the truth and just say that they want to fight Naoya Inoue, the smaller guy, for the more lucrative fight. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think it is. Like I said, there's no shame in that, but don't be trying to trick me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Don't be trying to trick me. Yo, shout out to my guy James Daly in the building, big member in the building. He said including an undefeated Goodman who beat Doheny. Yeah, and Goodman beat Doheny too. Yes, things change. Yeah, things change in boxing every day, man. So you over here trying to bank on Naoya Inoue. If he goes to 126, you're hoping that he fights you, bro. You have Espinosa right there. You have Stephen Fulton right there. You have Nick Ball and Angelo Leo. You have each other right there. Make that fight, man. You know what I'm saying? Stop being scary, man. Like I said, it just gets annoying. You know what I'm saying? Like I like Angelo. Don't get it twisted. I like Angelo Leo. I never really care for Nick Ball, but I like Angelo Leo. But at the same time, you know, we got to be honest, man. Y'all keep calling out Naoya Inoue, a smaller guy who's not even in your division. I don't care how great he is. You still look like, it looks kind of weak.
Nigga, you's a bitch.
That's how it looks like to me. But anyway, man, moving on to the next fight, man. We have going to England now. You know, hey, we was all over the place. We was international with the boxing commentary this weekend. First we were in Japan, and then we moved on to England later on in the day, right? And we saw we were up early in the morning in Japan on my side in the US, and then we were up for around lunchtime for the England fight, right? We saw Josh Taylor fight Ekow Essuman, but before we got there, we had Moses Atama fight Mike Balogun. forgive me for mispronouncing his name, a former NFL linebacker, right? 42 years old, or was he 41 or 42, something like that.
Damn.
And yeah,
I'm sorry.
I mean, Moses Atama did his thing, you know. Now I will say this, not to poop on anybody's party, but you know, that's the thing I say about, I think English boxing fans have the best boxing fan base. You know, I think England has the best boxing fan base, England boxing fans, and Mexico too, of course. But I would say English. However, that's the thing about having a great, strong boxing fan base, is because it's harder to tell, at least for me, you know, I'm gonna admit that. People be capping, you know, it's hard to tell with English fighters who's the real deal. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when I saw my boy Tyson Fury, I kind of knew, but I still wasn't sure. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my favorite fighters right there, Tyson Fury, especially in the heavyweight division. But even he took a little while, right? Because it's just harder to tell, because they put everybody up on the pedestal, you know, from guys that are relatively unknown, Ben Whitaker, Ezra Taylor, the crawlers, you know, Anthony Crawler and them like that. It's like, when they step on that world stage, are they really that good? You know, it's hard to tell, because they have so much hype behind them. We just saw with Johnny Fisher, right? The Rumford Bull. He just got bulldozed by David Allen. Shout out to David Allen, but if Johnny Fisher was who we thought he was, he shouldn't have lost to a David Allen caliber guy who's more so like a journeyman, you know, especially coming off of shout out to him. Big salute to David Allen for overcoming his drug addiction. I don't remember if it was crack or whatever it was, but he was literally a dope fiend, had rehabilitation like Amy Winehouse. Shout out to David Allen. And he comes in, he beats a heavyweight, the next generation of heavyweights in England, and Johnny Fisher, one of them, right? Is Johnny Fisher, Moses Atama. So now, I always thought Moses Atama looked better than Johnny Fisher, but I thought Johnny Fisher was pretty good, you know, when he beat Alan Babbitt and some other guys. But then you realize that after he was a beneficiary of a robbery, it wasn't his fault, but David Allen beat him, right? The first time, and he got robbed. They had the rematch, and David Allen clapped him up. You know what I'm saying? Did not send it to the judges, and it makes that's just another testament to, it's like, hold on, man, maybe these guys aren't really that good. It's like I said, it takes a little while to tell how good they will be on the world level. Like even Dalton Smith, I'm still not sure about, and Moses Atama, I'm not sure about. You know, he did look good though, you know, but they're saying that, oh, he's the next generation of heavyweights in England boxing. He's very strong, like Mike. They're comparing him to Mike Tyson, and I don't think that's a bad comparison, but I think it depends on how serious you are about it. You know, like none of these guys that he has beaten or faced so far, even though he handled his business, big salute to him. He's dropping bombs on him, including Mike Belugan. I mean, he looked good. He looked sharp when he hit him with that hook, man. Dropped a bomb on his chin. And he dropped a bomb on his chin, but it's just, I don't like I say, he's a former NFL linebacker. Like, so he's doing what he's supposed to do, but can he do it against a higher caliber opposition? Or can he even do it against a guy like that's a, no offense and no disrespect, but he's like a mediocre level pedestrian guy in Dave Allen. I would like to see him versus Dave Allen, you know? Or, but what about, I don't know, him versus the Fabio Wardley and Justice Honey winner? Or what about him versus Jared Big Baby Anderson? Or even, I don't know, give me somebody else. Jermaine Franklin or something like that, you know, or Otto Wallin, right? So they're talking about him versus Otto Wallin or Jermaine Franklin now, but before Moses Atama just beat Mike Belogan, maybe they're just trying to get some momentum and keep his name in the tabloids and stuff. But they were talking about him fighting Martin Bacoli or Joseph Parker, or it was Martin Bacoli, Joseph Parker, and somebody else. I can't remember who the other person was. But anyway, Joseph Parker and Martin Bacoli, right? And I'm not saying he can't beat those guys, but that's a major step up. And I think that's a recipe for disaster, you know, because like I just gave you the example with Johnny Fisher, that wasn't even a major step up. It was just the next step in a natural progression of increasing your competition. And he fell flat on his face, literally and figuratively, right? You know, yeah, you got flattened, pun intended. And then, so when you talk about Moses Atama being real or hype, I think it's hard to determine. I think it's to be determined, and I don't think he should fight like a Martin Bacoli right now. I don't think he should fight a Joseph Parker right now. Not next. Not that he can't beat them. It's just I think that'll be such a major jump in competition that it would set him up for failure. So give him the winner of Wardley or Justice Honey, or maybe give him Richard Torres Jr., give him a Guido Vianello, who Torres Jr. just beat, Jared Anderson. That'd be a good fight. You know, you have a former American heavyweight prospect. I mean, well, not former. He's still a guy that could bounce back from a Bacoli loss, but we thought that he was the heavyweight American heavyweight next up, right? And look what happened to him when he stepped up too fast. Just like, you know, he stepped up from guys we barely heard of, like Riyad Marai. I think it was his fight before Bacoli, and then his fight before that, I think was you know, sometime before that was Charles Martin. At least he fought a former champion, but then he jumped to a contender like Martin Bacoli, and he got flattened too. You know, so we've seen this over and over again. So let's change what's going on and not rush these guys from mediocre pedestrian subpar level guys to guys that are contenders like Martin Bacoli and stuff like that. So I think that they should slow down. I think it's a bad idea to throw him in there with Joseph Parker or Martin Bacoli. Like I said, once again, I'm not saying that they can't win, but it's such a major jump in competition that I feel is unnecessary. I mean, Moses Thomas is only 20. You know, give him like one fight, 2 more fights, and then fight Bacoli. I'm not saying never fight him. I'm just saying maybe fight him at the end of the year well, I mean, we're already in May, so I guess you get 1 more fight, 1 or 2 more fights this year, and then next year, then you start fighting Martin Bacoli's, Joseph Parker's, Ajit Kabayel's, whatever other contenders that we have. That's just my personal opinion. We got my guy Mike in the building. What's good, Mike? Yes, sir. He said, I'm refusing to buy into Thomas' hype before he beats someone of no. I agree, James. I'm not mad at you for that. He said, much prefer Fabio Worthy versus Justice Huni. They're number 10 and number 11 heavyweights right now. Yeah, but Moses Thomas ranked up there too. Moses Thomas might be ranked like number 1 or number 2, which I think is crazy. You know, I'm not saying that's crazy because, like I said, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it or he doesn't have the skills to do it. I'm saying that it's inconclusive yet right now. Yeah, look at this. I know I went triple WBO. So when I say that these guys are going to fight these guys that are step-ups, I mean, look, he's ranked number 1. He's ranked number 1 in the WBO. So him versus Joseph Parker could be, that's who it was. Philip Hrgovic was the other guy. I was like, I was like, Martin Bacoli, Joseph Parker, and the Philip Hrgovic was the other guy. So him and Philip Hrgovic, they make sense. Him and Joseph Parker make sense. Him and Zhale Zhang make sense. But does it make sense from a career progression standpoint? I don't know, man. I mean, who has he beat? He hasn't beat anybody, like, you know what I'm saying, of note, like you just already articulated, James. So yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. But you know, he's ranked number 1 in the WBO. So now it's gonna look like, okay, he needs to be fighting some guys that are highly ranked, or else now he looks like you cherry picking, right? So that's why with these rankings, man, it's kind of crazy. But I mean, if he's ready, you know, his team will know better than I do. But I'm just not convinced yet. But you know, a win over a guy like a Joseph Parker or Philip Hrgovic or Martin Bacoli, that would definitely convince me. But at the same time, you run the risk. I mean, hey, the greater the risk, the greater the reward a lot of times. So if you want to take that risk, go ahead, take it. I'm going to watch, but I don't know if he's ready yet. Now let's move on, man. That's good enough for most of the time. I want to go to Josh Taylor versus Ekow Essuman, man. Hey, can you believe it? It's not that I can't believe that Ekow Essuman, he only had 1 loss, right, early in his career. And he's a tough fighter. I've seen him fight twice before, Josh Taylor. And Josh Taylor, we know he's been on a little skid, right, downward skid. But man, I didn't realize that this was his 3rd loss. And like, I didn't think about it till this morning. I was like, man, this is his 3rd loss in a row. He lost to Teofimo, he lost to Jack Catterall, and now he lost to Ekow, right? And you could argue that it's his 4th loss in a row because his fight before Teofimo was Jack Catterall, where he escaped and skated out with the win. And a lot of people thought he lost to El Gato, right? But nevertheless he won. But this is his 3rd legitimate loss, right? Because I thought he lost this Ekow Essuman fight. It was a close fight, but I thought he lost. I scored it 115-113 in favor of Essuman. I just feel like Josh Taylor gassed out towards the end. You know, he was looking good, looking like the bigger guy like he usually is. And but it just looked like he just didn't have the stamina to finish out the fight. And while I don't think that that's a devastating loss, I don't think Essuman, Ekow Essuman is that bad of a fighter. I'm not saying that. I think he's a good fighter. I'd like to see him get another title opportunity. Salute to Essuman, first and foremost, man. He definitely was the upset of the weekend. But I was, especially being older than Josh Taylor too. But I will say this though, with Josh Taylor being a former champion, former undisputed, you know what I'm saying? I think that his days as not only a champion, but even a serious contender are over, especially at 147. It's like there's a lot of new faces at 147. So I'm not saying that him versus Devin Haney wouldn't be a good fight. Him versus Ryan Garcia wouldn't be a good fight, especially with them both coming off of L's. They have a lot to prove right there. Him versus Rolly wouldn't be a good fight. I'm not saying these wouldn't be good fights, but as far as him being favored, I think that's over with. I think he'll be the underdog in all those fights, whether he wins or not. You know, I don't think he beats Devin Haney. Rolly maybe, but I don't know. I think he'll beat Ryan Garcia, especially Ryan Garcia without his juice. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, cheating ass. You know, then I think he'll beat. I think he has a good chance to beat Ryan Garcia.
We do not let people who are on the juice discuss real athletes. That's all.
But as far as like guys like Drawn Boots Ennis, no chance. Brian Norman Jr., I think that's a good fight because Brian Norman Jr., that'd be a best name on his resume, but I don't think he beats Brian Norman. I don't even think he beats Barrios, to be honest. I think you have a good chance against Barrios, but I would lean towards Barrios as well, assuming Barrios gets past Pacquiao. But what's crazy, though, the crazier part about this Josh Taylor thing, I want to kind of get sidetracked a little bit. The craziest part about this is this Devin Haney curse, man. Bro, I wasn't hit to the Devin Haney curse, bro. Like, so I was, you know, this is stuff that's on Twitter stuff. I try to stay off of that cesspool of toxicity, cesspool of ignorance, cesspool of stupidity and idiocy. I don't really mess with Twitter like that, but I was going on Twitter today to see, like, just to look at some boxing news and stuff like that to see what I could get some topics for today. And I stumbled upon this Haney curse, and I was unfamiliar with it. I'm not going to cap. But then I started thinking about it. So basically what it is the people that talk trash about Devin Haney for his situation with Ryan Garcia, where Ryan Garcia cheated and pummeled him, right? Beat him half to death, you know, even though he survived, you know, shout out to Devin Haney. The man got cheated, right? It was, I think, Ryan Garcia, whether you like Devin Haney or you like Ryan Garcia, it doesn't matter. The fact that if you like boxing, you should be against anybody cheating, you know. Like I said, this is odd to me because I've never seen anybody get so much hate and so much flack and disrespect for a guy cheating you. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen people challenge what the significance or the effectiveness of PEDs until Devin Haney was impacted by PEDs. I've never seen this in my life. I don't care if you talk about track and field. I don't care if you talk about boxing. I don't care if you talk about baseball. I don't care if you talk about cycling with Lance Armstrong. I've never heard anybody question the significance of PEDs. Bitch, you're cheating. That's it. It doesn't matter. I don't care what it looked like after that. I never seen anybody say when Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds hit home runs, and Jose Canseco, they got accused of cheating. No one ever said the pitcher should throw the ball better. They just said the guy cheated. They didn't say what the opponents could have done better. They just said the guy cheated. When Lance Armstrong was cheating in cycling, they didn't say that his opponents could have cycled harder. They could have pedaled harder, pedaled faster. They just said Lance Armstrong cheated, and he got reprimanded for it. When Justin Gatlin, the track star, they didn't say when he got caught cheating, they didn't say that his opponents could have ran faster. They didn't just say that. They just said that Justin Gatlin cheated. And that's all that mattered. Even with Marion Jones, right? They never said, oh, well, her opponents could have ran faster. So why when Devin Haney gets cheated, we talk about how his performance could have been better? I've never seen when Conor Benn got caught cheating, no one said that Chris Algieri should have blocked. When he got knocked the freak out, Devin Haney didn't get knocked out. Devin Haney kept getting up. So why is that the narrative now, what Devin Haney could have did better? Did he fight a perfect fight? No. Could he have blocked more? Yeah. Who cares? The guy cheated. Even if he would have did that, does that change the fact that Ryan Garcia cheated? I think the answer would be an emphatic no. So my point is saying that is that if you're saying these things is because you have an overwhelmingly emotional hatred for Devin Haney, which is ridiculous, bro. A guy cheated. Dennis McCann got his fight canceled because he cheated. Amir Khan lost the fight and he still got suspended for cheating. Louis Neary got reprimanded for cheating. So why is the question now for Ryan Garcia? I think it's a deeper rooted hatred for things that, you know what I'm saying, that are just ridiculous. But people are incompetent, man, you know. You know, it is what it is. So you shouldn't expect more, unfortunately. But my point is that, you know, with the Devin Haney curse, the Devin Haney, Lance Armstrong was an embarrassment. Yeah, but people should say that his opponent could have pedaled harder, right? Because cheating, PEDs don't matter, you know. But yeah, so that's the type of energy that we give to Devin Haney. And I'm not a Devin Haney fan like that. You know, I put money on Ryan Garcia, but I'm a boxing fan first. I don't hate any of these young men, you know what I'm saying, or women that compete. I just want to see good sports at the highest level on an even playing field, and Ryan Garcia violated that. So if you like boxing, he violated your trust and the integrity and the purity and the sanctity of the sport. So you should be upset too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you got to hate the dude, but don't blame his opponent for what transpired in that fight after somebody had PEDs, illegal and banned substances in their system, to give them an unfair advantage in a sport that's already dangerous, where we see people like Anaguchi, who just passed away last year in January, rest his soul, 23 years old. We just saw Genjiro Sugioka when he just fought Pedro Tadaran this weekend on the Angelo Leo and Tomoki Kameda undercard. the co-main event. We just saw him carried out on a stretcher. Nobody cheated. So when you cheat, it's dangerous. It has potential chronic or fatal or life-altering repercussions. So the fact that you're okay with that shows what kind of bitch you are. I'm just to be honest. It shows that you pussy. You know, in addition to the person that popped the pills too, Ryan Garcia. Both of y'all pussy. Anybody who thinks that that's okay to cheat is crazy. But anyway, let's go back to the Devin Haney curse. So the Devin Haney curse is essentially what I found out about anybody that talked trash about what transpired for Devin Haney as far as in the boxing realm. So, and I didn't know this, right? So Taylor, apparently Josh Taylor is the latest to be a victim of the Haney curse because he was talking trash. He was talking trash about Devin Haney looking frantic and looking bad on his comeback fight against Jose Carlos Ramirez. You know what I'm saying? My guy, shout out to my guy Legacy in the building. What's good, brethren? So yeah, and Garcia came back half the man looking terrible against Rolly too. So if that wasn't indicative of him cheating, I don't know what is. You're just blind at this point. Blind, deaf, and dumb. Oh, Helen Keller, stupid ass. But I'm talking about the people, not her. But anyway, so Josh Taylor, right? So Josh Taylor was talking trash about Devin Haney, and now he lost in his next fight, right? Again, and obviously we have Ryan Garcia talking all this trash that he lost his next fight against Rolly Romero, and then another guy, Gary Anton Russell, I remember him talking trash and being very dismissive about the effectiveness of PEDs, and then what happened to him? He lost his fight against Alberto Puello. Now, since he bounced back and beat the hell out of Rayo Valenzuela to be a champion, but he did lose his very next fight, right? And then even Jared B. Baby Anderson was talking trash about Devin Haney, and we see him get beat up by Martin McCauley later that year, right? So, and then another guy who's on the lower level, Ashton H2O Silv, he was beating the heck out of Lucas Body, and then Lucas Body caught a body and knocked him out. He was essentially losing every second of that fight until Body dropped him and knocked him out for KO candidate of the year, right? So Ashton, so it could go on and on and on. Even my guy Gervonta Tank Davis, man, he was impacted. Even my boy Tank was impacted, bro, because you know that after Tank was talking trash about about Devin Haney, that hairpiece got hit with the hair grease, you know. His hairpiece got hit with the hair grease.
Yeah.
And that's crazy, bro. That is crazy, bro. I said, yo, man, first of all, let's be very clear. I'm joking, right? I don't believe in no curses, you know. I believe in God, so I can't. It's hard for me to believe in both simultaneously, you know. So I don't believe in curses. I do believe in misfortune. I do believe in bad blessings. I do believe in unfortunate things happening, but nothing that you can't bounce back from, you know, especially if you're a faithful person. You know, sometimes we go through trials and tribulations and downs, sometimes more downs than ups, but it's just part of life, you know, a roller coaster of life. You know, you just keep your faith, you keep your hard work about you, you keep your wits about you and your courage about you, and you be good. But I do think it's very interesting. You know what I'm saying? I do think it's very interesting. And you know what I do hate? Hate's a strong word. And I hate this. I hate the fact that people will say, oh, everybody does it. Similar to what I just said about the PEDs, right? Or everybody does PEDs because somebody that you like got popped with PEDs. No one did everybody didn't do PEDs before, but when somebody that you like gets popped with dirty against somebody you don't like, then all of a sudden everybody does it, so you can try to minimize the situation. So I've been seeing people say, oh, everybody talks trash about Devin Haney, so everybody's losing. You know, it doesn't really mean much because everybody talks trash about Devin Haney. No, everybody does not talk trash about Devin Haney. Maybe you and your goofy ass, garbage ass circle, your incompetent ass circle talks trash about Devin Haney, or maybe the people that you watch or the boxers that you watch, because I don't even think it's talking trash about Haney. I don't care if you talk trash about Haney. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Devin Haney fan, but when you talk trash about somebody losing due to PEDs, that means you're downing the sport. You're decreasing the integrity of the sport, and you're really shooting the sport and making it have a bad look. You know what I'm saying? And you're disrespecting not only yourself as a participant, but you're disrespecting everybody that is gonna come after you, that's in the game with you and came before you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're saying that PEDs don't matter. You know, PEDs matters in everything. Cheating matters in everything, especially sports, right? So this fact that people are saying, oh, you know, the Haney curse is not real because everybody talks trash about Haney. I mean, people are going to lose. No, well, Caleb Sweet Hands Plant, one of my favorite fighters, he didn't talk trash about Haney. In fact, he said the opposite. He said that Ryan Garcia is a bum, and he said that he cheated and he should be kicked out the sport. I never seen David Benavidez talk trash about Devin Haney. I'm just saying, these are just a few people that also box. I didn't see them talk trash, you know? So this notion that everybody talks trash, that's just not true. Because I did see Shakur Stevenson talk trash about Devin Haney once Ryan Garcia popped dirty. you know. But with that being said, I don't believe in the curse. I mean, I don't believe in curses, but this notion that people try to minimize things like, oh, everybody does PEDs with somebody that they like pops dirty. Oh, everybody talk trash about Devin Haney when they see somebody that they like lose. No, you know, this is called karma. You know what I'm talking about? That's life, man. You know, you get what you put out. So that maybe next time you should stop talking trash about others and focus on the fight that you have next. You know what I'm saying? Including my boy Gervonta Tank Davis, because if you were focused, then you may not been in that hair grease situation. You know what I'm talking about? If you were focused, then you might have been Ekow Essuman. You know what I'm talking about, Josh Taylor? If you were focused, H2O Silva, you might not have got the shit knocked out of you by Lucas Body. You see what I'm saying? And if you were focused, Gary Anton Russell, you might not have lost a close split decision to Alberto Puello. So it's just funny that, like, when you say things and things come back around, it might take a long time to come back around, but that thing gonna come back around. You know, I think that every fight, you know, it's really disturbing to me that any fighter, especially a clean fighter, would talk trash about somebody cheating. You know what I'm saying? Talk trash about Devin Haney, that's one thing, but to talk trash about somebody cheating, I think it's crazy. You know, I think it's very crazy. Shout out to my guy Liam Parr. Yeah, I like Liam Parr, man. He's coming back. He has a fight against who's he fighting again? Who's he fighting? I just talked about it last show. I can't remember who he's fighting. But the guy only has one loss. I can't remember who he's fighting right now, but he's having a homecoming. But shout out to Liam Parr. But Liam Parr, I was disappointed too, because when he talked about it, I know he said he wants to fight a clean Garcia, but I don't know why he emphasized he wants to fight a clean Garcia, because when I saw him talk about it, now he wasn't as disrespectful as, let's say, some of the other guys that I just mentioned in regards to it, but he was very dismissive of it as well. You know, so I didn't like that either. I kind of I ain't gonna say I lost respect. I still like Liam Parr. Everybody has their opinions, but I thought that was kind of weak. I thought he should have been a little bit more adamant about people being clean, because I remember I watched it. It was contradictory. It was around the times of Richardson Hitchens, right? When he was about to fight Richardson Hitchens, and he lost too, you know. But he was like saying, but Richardson Hitchens talked trash about Haney as well. But he was like, yeah, you know, he said, he said something like PEDs. He said, I don't think it had that much of a difference, but you shouldn't cheat. But at the same time, Devin Haney could have fought better. Something like that. I don't know. I just feel like, it's kind of weak to even mention that stuff, to be honest. I can't remember exactly what was said, but yeah. But shout out to Liam Parr. I'm definitely rooting for him for his next fight. I can't remember who he's fighting, man. I just announced it. I know you know. I'm sure you know, James. Who is he fighting again? Jonathan Navarro, that's who it is, on June 25th. Yeah, June 25th, he's fighting Jonathan Navarro. So that should be a good fight, man. He's going to be a guy that's going to come to fight, and I'm looking forward to see Liam Parr bounce back. You know, we'll see how it goes, man. But moving on to another topic, bro. Another topic that was spoken about. Let me put a bow on that, though. I don't think the Haney curse is real, but I do think it's funny and it's very interesting, and I'm going to pay attention to it, man. Hey, I think it's funny, man, you know, especially people are making like compilations of people losing and getting knocked out and stopped, and they're showing Haney just laughing. I think that joke is hilarious, bro. You know, but yeah, I definitely don't believe in no curse. But it is funny. You know, it's like the Madden curse. You know, who believes in that? But you know, at the same time, it gets interesting looking at it. So yeah, I think it's funny. No. That's not all Parro said, bro. Parro did not just say it's dangerous for fighters to put their life on the line against. You know, that's not all he said. I definitely remember him saying like, oh yeah, Devin Haney could have did this and this and this or something like that, or say I'm not sure about the right. I remember it, bro. That's not all he said. He said that as well, but that's not all he said. He was dismissive of the fact that Ryan Garcia was on PEDs, because he said something. I remember exactly. He said something like, oh yeah, it was such a small amount. No, it wasn't a small amount. So yeah, he also said that cheating is wrong, but then he also tried to be dismissive and reduce the effectiveness of the PEDs, trying to say it was a small amount, and it actually wasn't a small amount. In fact, it was the opposite. I don't know why this narrative is being pushed that it was a small amount. It was actually a large amount. In fact, it was like, let's say Amir Khan, who got banned for 2 years. I'm gonna keep repeating this until people get it through their thick skull. Amir Khan tested positive for 0.3 nanograms per milliliter, and he got 2 years. Ryan Garcia tested positive for 6 nanograms per milliliter. So if you do the math, 6.3 into 6 is 20 times the amount. Ryan Garcia had 20 times the amount of Osterine in his system than Amir Khan had, and Amir Khan got 2 years for it. Ryan Garcia got 1 year for having 20 times the amount, 60 times the legal allowable amount by the New York State Athletic Commission, 60 times the amount that's allowed in your system that's permitted to go under the radar. You know what I'm saying? 0.1 nanograms per milliliter. That just means that is pretty much negligible. He had 60 times the allowable threshold. That's why he popped dirty. And then he had 20 times the amount Amir Khan had in the system. That's why he popped dirty. So it was not an insignificant amount. And Liam Paul said, oh, it's an insignificant amount. It wasn't that much. How do you know that? You're not a toxicologist. You're not a phlebotomist. Obviously, you're not educated about the topic. So just leave it alone. Don't be so adamant. Like, that's the thing about people, man. I'm not just talking about Liam Paul. I'm talking about people in general. You don't have to have an opinion about everything, especially if you don't know what the freak you're talking about. It's okay to be like, oh, I don't know. It's okay, bro. You don't have to pretend. That's what pissed me off about Liam Paul in that interview. So he did not just say that. So I watch a lot of boxing, man. He literally said it was a small amount. Oh, I don't know about the amount. If you don't know about the amount, then shut the hell up. And everybody, not just him, Richardson Hitchens as well. You know what I'm saying? Rolly Romero as well. If you don't know, you don't know. It's okay. But what you shouldn't do, if you don't know, you shouldn't simultaneously speak on something like you're an expert. You don't know what the effectiveness level is. What quantity is effective. You don't know. And it's okay not to know. The only reason why I know is because I did the research on it. Because I was curious. But these people, they instead of being, they're not curious, they're not educated on the topic, they don't do the research, they're lazy, but then they speak on it like they know. That's a problem. It's okay not to know something, but it should be considered a crime to pretend like you know something when you absolutely have no freaking clue what you're talking about. That should be a crime. It's okay not to know, but a sign of wisdom is to know what you don't know and be okay with that. Don't try to fake the funk, because when you run into somebody who does know, you're gonna look stupid, as you should. So, but anyway, move on to Canelo versus Crawford, right? So first of all, man, I don't understand why people don't like Crawford, man. You know what I'm saying? I got Canelo winning. Shout out to my boy Cinnamon. I got Cinnamon winning, but I don't understand why people don't like Terrence Bud Crawford, man. I really don't get it, man. So I want to talk about Canelo versus Crawford. People are saying that it's going to break every record, including Terrence Bud Crawford, including, he says it's going to break every record for pay-per-view sales, including, what's his name? Mayweather versus Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the GOAT and shout out to the legend, man. I don't think it's going to be that big of a fight. Yeah, you got to do your research, James Daly. It's there. I don't think it's going to be that big of a fight. I mean, I think it's going to be a huge fight. I think it's going to be bigger than the Spence and Terrence Crawford fight. I don't know if it's going to be bigger than Canelo, than Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, for the simple reason that Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather was years in the making. People even said it was late, right? Terrence Crawford and Canelo is an interesting fight. It's an intriguing fight, but it wasn't anticipated, right? Nobody was really asking for it until they came around. People were asking for Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao for years, and quite frankly, it happened a little too late, but it was still a big fight, the biggest fight. So I'm not sure if anything will eclipse that. I'm not gonna say ever, because records are there to be broken, but I don't know if this one will do it, because like at the end of the day, there's gonna be some people that are not interested in the fight because of the weight disparity, right? Because Crawford is moving up 2 weight classes, and I think some people will not purchase it because of that, right? That alone, you know. And I just think that the anticipation, it usually comes from like a rivalry or like some type of parallel journey together, right? You know, Floyd and Pacquiao came from a lower weight division, even lower than Floyd, but Floyd came up from a lower weight division too, and they had a lot of common opponents. Terrence Crawford and Canelo, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they have any common opponents. I mean, they shouldn't, right? The weight classes are so different, you know. But Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao, they both fought guys like a legendary Hall of Famer, Juan Manuel Marquez, personally one of my favorite fighters. They both fought a Hall of Famer, Miguel Cotto. They both fought a Hall of Famer, Ricky Hitman Hatton, another one of my favorite fighters. Miguel Cotto, all three of these guys are one of my favorite fighters. Both fought Hall of Famer Sugar Shane Mosley, another one of my favorite fighters. So they have so many common opponents, and they were talking about them fighting each other eventually, and the fact that they're both at the top of the sport. They were considered 1 and 2, you know what I'm saying? Both of them exchanging positions on the pound for pound list. So it had that much of intrigue to it. Canelo is a high pound for pound. I think he's number 4 or 5 right now, you know, being undisputed twice, 2 times at 168, right? The first ever at 168. And then now he reclaimed it by beating William Skull. And then Terrence Crawford being 2 times undisputed in 2 different weight classes, and being undefeated while doing it. It has a lot of anticipation. We're all interested to see if Terrence Bud Crawford can do it, so it's going to be interesting. But as far as it building up the intrigue, like I said, a lot of people aren't interested in it. They think it's a circus simply because of the weight differential. You know, I definitely think Terrence Crawford has a good chance to win, but I'm going with my boy Cinnamon, man. So I don't think it's going to break the records that Mayweather Pacquiao set. I don't think it'll break the record that Mayweather Oscar De La Hoya set. I do think it'll be Bud and Errol Spence. I'm not sure if it'll be Tank and Ryan Garcia even, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if it's going to break that record, but we'll see though, man. It's interesting. I definitely think it's a big fight, and I'm very much intrigued, but I don't understand how people don't like Terrence Bud Crawford. Like, you know what I'm saying? For me right now, my favorite fighter is Canelo and Gervonta Tank Davis and Junto Nakatani. Those are my top three favorite. I like a lot of guys like Caleb Sweethands Plant. I like Terrence Bud Crawford a lot. I like Errol Spence. I like Dave Benavidez. I like a lot of fighters, right? Right. Caleb Sweethands Plant. But I could understand why some people don't like him. Like, for example, I could understand if you don't like Cinnamon, right? Because if you want him to fight David Benavidez, cool. You don't like Cinnamon, whatever. Shout out to my guy Nick Victor. He said I think he's going to do similar numbers to Tank. I agree with that. I'm not even sure he's going to beat that, but I do think he's going to do similar numbers to Tank versus Ryan. I agree with that 1000%. And it has some of the similar dynamics, right? Especially the ethnic dynamics, because boxing, combat sports in general, they love to exploit the differences in appearance, nationality, religion, whatever they can, you know what I'm saying, culture. So it definitely has the Black American versus the Mexican, right? We love that. So similar dynamic to Tank and Ryan, even though they're both American. Tank was Black American, African American, and Ryan is Hispanic American or Mexican American, right? Latino American. So, has that dynamic similar to what Terrence Crawford and Canelo, even more so because it's American versus the Mexican, So it does have that dynamic in the Black versus brown. So I do think it'll be up there. But like I said, from an anticipation standpoint, it doesn't have the anticipation that, say, a Mayweather and Pacquiao does. So I don't think it's going to come close to that. But I think it will do something nice, though. Because, hey, Tank and Ryan, that was a nice number. So I don't really care about the economics of boxing, but I just see it as a topic, so I wanted to discuss it. But speaking of, like I said, with Bud, I don't understand how people don't like Bud because, like I said, Cinnamon's, I get how you don't like Cinnamon. If you think that he ducked David Benavidez, okay. You think that he's cherry picking his opponents, cool. You don't like Cinnamon. Face of boxing, you get a lot of love. Contrarily, you get a lot of hate, right? Heavy is the head that wears a crown. I can understand how you don't like Floyd Mayweather. Maybe his personality, his braggadocious personality, the way he flaunts his lifestyle and his money, you don't like that, whatever. You don't like the fact that he didn't fight Paul Williams or Antonio Margarita or Triple G or whoever else you think he should have fought. Cool, I get it. You know what I'm saying? You don't like Naya Inoue because you wish you would have fought John Rio Casimiro. There's some allegations about him you having some excessive hand wraps and staying in Japan, being a what they call a Japanese turtle. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? I disagree with these things. I'm just saying some of the negatives that people say when they don't like somebody. Manny Pacquiao, if you don't like Manny Pacquiao with the steroids allegation, him refusing to take the Olympic style drug testing to facilitate him versus Mayweather happening faster. Okay, cool. You don't like the fact that he's still boxing around, taking opportunities from younger guys. Okay, cool. Whatever it is, the fact that he has a couple of L's, maybe you like undefeated fighters, maybe you like the aura of invincibility undefeated fighters have. Pacquiao's not undefeated. Cool. Whatever. You don't like Pacquiao. You don't like Alexander Usyk because maybe you feel like, oh, he got away with a controversial win over Daniel Dubois. Oh, he should have lost to Tyson Fury or whatever, and people just give him too much credit for not doing much and only having a little bit of fights, whatever it is. I'm like I said, once again, I disagree with these things. I'm just saying these are things that could be said, right? But with Terrence Bud Crawford, why don't you like him? He has no controversies. He has nobody that he's ducking. Like, I don't understand. Like, you dislike him because he wins? You dislike him because he beat, maybe your favorite fighter was Gamboa. Maybe you like the undefeated Victor Postol when he beat him. Maybe you liked Errol Spence. I liked Errol Spence. I like Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. I like Errol Spence slightly more than I like Terrence Crawford. I was rooting for Errol Spence to beat Terrence Crawford because I liked him a little bit more. It's like Manny Pacquiao. To me, that fight was very similar to Pacquiao and Floyd for me because I'm saying not the fighters, but the fact that I like both of them. I didn't really care who won, but I slightly leaned towards Floyd and I slightly leaned towards Errol Spence, right? But I wasn't mad at Terrence Crawford because he won. Like, in contrary, I wouldn't have been mad at Manny Pacquiao if he won. Like the best man win, bro. It's competition. I will tell you who I favor, who I have a preference for, but it's not like, oh, I will hate that. I could never understand or relate to people who hate somebody because they beat somebody that they like. What do you want them to do? Go in there and lose? Like, I don't understand. So I don't understand the hatred for Terrence Crawford. Like, everything, the people that I find that don't like Bud is because he beat Errol Spence and they liked Errol Spence. That shit is weird to me, man. I don't know. I like fighters. I don't live vicariously through Nan Fighter. So I think that shit is weird. But that's just me anyway. I could understand. Maybe there is slight one controversy. Maybe they don't like Terrence Crawford because they say he ducked boots. I don't know. Maybe that's the only thing I could think of. But yeah, I just don't get it, man. But yeah, it just seems like they just dislike him because he wins. Yo, Team Slime in the building was good. He said most black folks hate dark-skinned fighters. Self-hate is real, a stupid reason, but that's why they hate Crawford. I don't believe that at all. I think that reason that you just said was as stupid as you typing it. I don't know if that's true. I mean, maybe I can't speak on your experience, but yeah, I don't believe that at all. I think you just made that shit up. I ain't gonna lie to you. Shout out to B Fighter. Yeah, I think you just made that shit up completely. You said most black folks hate dark skinned fighters. What? Well, so even if that's the case, right? Why did you just reduce it to black? I didn't say only black folks don't like Terrence Crawford. I didn't say only white folks don't like Terrence Crawford. I didn't say only brown folks dislike Terrence Crawford. I said people that don't like Terrence Crawford. I don't get it. But you reduced it like, oh, even if all the black people liked him, what does that mean that the Hispanics will like him? Does that mean that the Asians will like him? Does that mean that the Europeans will like him? I don't even know how you just made that argument. I don't even understand how you just reduce. I was talking about people in general. You broke it down to one specific demographic. I think that reflects how you feel. Maybe that's how you feel, but I never heard that. So, and if that is true, then that is stupid. I agree with you. But I think that's almost as stupid to even believe that that's even true. I think that's just as stupid to even believe something like that is even true. I think there's ignorant people of all shapes and sizes and shades and colorations and nationalities and religions. So maybe that is true for some specific small group of dumbasses, but I don't think that's true for a whole. Especially not applicable to me because I'm black and I'm dark skinned. And he's dark skinned and I like him. So and I also like guys that are white skinned. Pause. That sounds crazy. We gonna pause that. But I'm talking about guys in reference to sports. I'm saying boxing. I like golf fighters. I'm not saying everybody's like me and they shouldn't be. And nor am I like everybody, but I think that was silly. But we gonna pause that. I like white skin guys, black skin guys, light skin guys, brown skin guys. I like guys, man. Pause.
No diddy.
Yeah, we gonna pause that. He said most of the hate for black people hate other black fighters. Unfortunately, yeah, sure. I mean, you could keep typing it and it doesn't make it any more true. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, sure. But anyway. Oh man, that's funny though. Yeah. But anyway, but yeah, so I just think that the controversy with Bud is, I just think that if Bud, I will say this about Terrence Bud Crawford. He doesn't have like a polarizing, for better or for worse, right? He doesn't really have a personality that makes people gravitate towards him. You know what I'm saying? So like, for example, the face of boxing, who was also dark skinned, Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, he was also dark skinned. People disliked him, but a lot more people liked him as well. You got to understand, it's like Canelo, right? That's what, like I just said, heavy is the head that wears a crown. So naturally, people will dislike you just as much as they like you. So you will have haters just as much as you'll have lovers. Same with Canelo, who's not dark skinned and he has his haters, and Floyd, who is dark skinned and he has his haters too. So I think that that point that you just made was silly because a lot of people like Floyd Mayweather and they're both dark skinned. So anyway, we gonna move on from that because I ain't going to entertain the nonsense. But anyway, I think Floyd had a polarizing personality, right? And emphasis on polarizing, right? Doesn't mean that whether you like him to like him or you hate him to hate him, or I should say hate, you dislike him to dislike him, baby. Either you accept his braggadocious personality or you don't like it. It's still polarizing, so people want to see it even if it's just to see him lose. Terrence Crawford doesn't really have a dynamic personality. He's more reserved, so even if you don't like him, I'm not sure how much you pay attention to see him lose, like even that much. You know what I'm saying? It's because publicity, like what they say, all publicity is good publicity. To some point, I don't really agree, but to some point, all publicity is good publicity. So even if you're watching to see him win or watching to see him lose, you're still watching. You know what I'm saying? That's what Floyd got off on. So even with Canelo, right? You want to see one of his cherry picks go wrong, right? Even with Tank, whether you like Tank or you dislike Tank, which Tank has a lot of haters. He has a lot of like lovers too, but he has some haters, and he's light skinned black, by the way. But some people will watch him to see him lose, like with the hair grease situation. People were so excited. You would thought he got knocked out. He just had a freaking draw, right? He just had a draw, and people would act like he lost. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, and then Devin Haney with the PEDs, right? People were excited to see him lose, even though it was with PEDs and he's brown skinned. You know, I'm gonna keep knocking that statement down because that statement was stupid. You know, I'm gonna reinforce to you how stupid it was and make it evident. You know, because I just named the light skin, black skin, dark skin, brown skin guys that people like and dislike. Tyson Fury, who's white skinned. You know, he's very braggadocious. Some people don't like him or his father. You know, so. And he's also not dark skinned. Shout out to Tyson Fury. So yeah, I'm not saying that some people aren't ignorant. Of course, there's always ignorance, but I wouldn't say that's enough to blanket an entire ethnic group because of you want to buy into ignorance. Shout out to my guy Black Star Sports. Was good. Terrence Crawford doesn't appeal to a lot of casual fans because there's nothing that makes him relatable. Right. Exactly what I'm talking about, Team Slime. He said he doesn't go out of his way to sell himself. Exactly. He just fights boxing purists at least respect, but exactly. He just fights. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I will say this though, Slime. Errol Spence, and I can't put my finger on it, Errol Spence wasn't really out there like that either. But he just had some people just got to, as much as I don't like Ryan Garcia right now, especially with his cheating and with his racial slurs he was using, and he said F black people, F Muslims, I think that's wrong as a person. You know what I'm saying? If you're a human and you lack humanity, then you're subhuman to me. And he's an ignorant piece of shit. So, but my point with Ryan though, objectively speaking, Ryan he's polarizing, right? You gravitate towards him, right? He's charismatic. He's very likable, very personable, you know what I'm saying? And even I liked him before he started that nonsense, you know what I'm saying? And so he has it, some people just have the juice, Errol Spence does too. Terrence Crawford doesn't have it. I mean, it's like, let's go to other sports. This is not anything foreign. You right? Tim Duncan, you can't say the top 3 power forwards in the history of the NBA and not mention Tim Duncan. He wasn't polarizing. He wasn't charismatic. You didn't see him on the front of Wheaties boxes. You didn't see him with a shoe deal. You didn't see him on commercials, right? He was just great. He just played basketball, just like Terrence Crawford. He just fights. You see what I'm saying? And so I don't think that there's always something that you have to point to or try to identify or try to I don't want to say deteriorate, but you don't have to what's we're looking for? Lost. There's nothing. You don't have to isolate a characteristic, especially something that's aesthetic or something that's surface level, and try to isolate or identify that as something that as a reason why people don't like that person. I don't think there's a legitimate reason. I just think it's more so because of what he doesn't do. Like, he doesn't market himself, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't market himself well, and some people just don't have that, and that's okay, but some people cannot have it and still be polarizing despite not being very charismatic, and unfortunately for Terrence Crawford, he just doesn't have that, and I think it's the same with Usyk. I mean, Usyk, he has the stuff where he says, oh, that's very feels, but he's not a big seller either. You see what I'm saying? He's not, people, I won't say people dislike him as much, but he's just somebody that just goes, he's seen and he's there, but you're not really paying extra attention to Usyk. When you hear about Usyk, it's because he has a fight coming up. You know what I'm saying? And he's fighting somebody like a Daniel Dubois, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. It's not like, oh yeah, it's just Usyk and I'm just excited to see Usyk no matter who he's fighting. No, if Usyk doesn't fight anybody, if Usyk doesn't fight somebody that's intriguing, he's not going to get attention. Like Tank and Canelo and Floyd and even Pacquiao. Well, yeah, even Pacquiao. The reason why I'm hesitant on Pacquiao is because there was always something about Pacquiao that made you want to watch him. It's not necessarily the fighters. It's the fact that he's usually fighting somebody bigger than him. So that's why it's intriguing. But I'll throw Pacquiao in there too. Not necessarily because of personality, but mostly because of what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? So there's some guys that they could fight anybody. You want to see him fight them. You just want to see them fight, and Terrence Crawford doesn't have that, and I don't think Usyk has that either. He said, if you ask your parents, black people have always favored the lighter complexion of the race. That's not ignorant. That's the truth. It translates through life. I didn't say all blacks, but many do. Bro, what are you talking about? Bro, shut up. He said, if you type one more message about that nonsense, that ignorance, I'm gonna get you out of here. Early on, Bud turned to start a YouTube group against him because he wouldn't do interviews with them. Oh, I didn't know that, Rev. They had a large influence at the time. I didn't know that. He said Spence had the state of Texas. He damn near had his own country. Yep, facts. Yeah, so the accent will get you places. Yeah, that's a fact. Now, I agree with that. But he still had something. It wasn't like nothing that he went out of his way, is what I'm saying. Top rank didn't help Bud either. He's talking about if you ask your parents. He said light skin versus. Okay, so is there not Irish versus Italians? Is there not South Koreans versus North Koreans? Is there not everywhere you go, people point out differences of each other? That's not something that's not something that's isolated to folks of the African descent. So like I said, this is more indicative and a testament to your ignorance and your incompetence and your idiocy. Don't you have Mexicans versus Puerto Ricans? Aren't they both Hispanic? Aren't they both brown? Oh, but when you see it, oh, it's something, oh, black folks don't like lighter skinned folks and dark skinned folks. Every single race, every ethnicity, every single type of people, they fight over everything. It's not something that's just isolated for people of darker persuasion. You're just a dumbass that likes to point these things out because that's how you feel. You think that problems are associated with particular groups of people because that's more a testament to how you feel. So let me break that. Now that I broke that down for you and repeatedly showed you how dumb you are, I'm gonna go ahead and get you up out of here. You know, so you could be dumb. You just can't be dumb in here. There's nothing wrong with being dumb. You just can't be dumb in here. Fuck out my channel. So stupid ass. Yeah, I don't mind you being dumb. You just can't be dumb in here. You feel me? We good? You understand what I'm saying? You understand me? You understand me? This man makes it seem like just certain people that look a certain way have certain issues. Like what are we talking about? He said, my boy Reb says, sorry, bro, I can't rock with that. The same group that doesn't like Bud absolutely love. Exactly, Reb. That's why you can't. I just gave you examples of fighters that are liked, and just, I'm not saying that it doesn't make a point, but he's trying to make it seem like, oh, these certain groups of people are the problem. You see, like I was talking about a guy being disliked in boxing. He tried to make it go down to one specific group of people. Do you think that Canelo only has Mexican fans? You think he's a face of boxing because he only has Mexican fans? Dumbass. No, you wouldn't be the face of boxing. You'd be the face of Mexico. You wouldn't be the face of boxing if you only had fans that look like you. Canelo, if you watch every interview, Canelo says, I can't even go to Europe. Mexico's not in Europe. I can't go, by the way, you know, because you seem like you're very, you lack intelligence. So you might think Mexico's in Europe. But anyway, he says he can't go to Europe, as in European countries, without getting recognized. So he has fans everywhere. You think Floyd could go to England, or Floyd could go to Africa, or not even just a particular country in Africa, the entire continent of Africa, go to the entire continent of Europe, go to the entire continent of Asia and not get noticed? You saw him when he was in Europe the other day in England. They were flooding the streets trying to see Floyd. You can't become a star if you only have one group or region or ethnic group of people that like you. So you're just a dumbass. And I just gave you examples of Tyson Fury, stardom, or lack of, or issues. Canelo, Floyd, Deontay Wilder, shout out to my guy Reb, Spence, Gervonta Tank Davis. So there's all types of people on the spectrum. I'm not saying that Terrence Crawford, it would not have helped if he was from another nation. I do like for example, England to me is the best fan base of boxing, right? Boxing fan base. You know, and who's their face, right? It would be Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury is big too, but Anthony Joshua is the one that's broke the record of Wembley with Daniel Dubois, and it wasn't because of Daniel Dubois. And he's of Nigerian descent. So I'm not saying that racism absolutely exists, but he wasn't even talking about racism. He was talking about self-hate or something stupid. Like I don't even know what kind of angle he was trying to get on, but I already know it's the same person that makes the same accounts and it tries to be a what's the word I'm looking for? It tries to be a antagonist. You know what I'm saying? But he's just an idiot. He makes himself look dumb every single time. So like it's just there are things that stop you. Like I do think if Bud was English, I definitely think his stardom would be bigger because England is a bigger boxing country than America. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't help that he's from America, but it's because America doesn't really care for boxing. Like if Caleb Plant was from Mexico or from England or Japan, I think he would be bigger too. He only has 2 losses, and that's to David Benavidez and Saul Canelo Alvarez. No shame in that. But when you have 2 losses and you're from America, then they throw you away. Just like when Deontay Wilder lost one time to Tyson Fury, all of a sudden now he was a trash heavyweight. He was considered the best, him and Tyson Fury, and then when one person lost, he became trash. Same with Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. Errol Spence is suddenly trash now because he lost to a top pound for pound, top 3 fighter in Terrence Bud Crawford, whether he's 1, 2, or 3 between him, Usyk, and Inoue. But that's only in America. You know, Derek Chisora is still a boxing star in England, and he has like 13 losses. You know what I'm saying? Josh Taylor could probably still bounce back, and he has 3 losses in a row. It's more so about where you're from, more so than and how people appreciate boxing, more so than what you look like, I think. But you know that definitely plays a factor. But he was just trying to make it seem like, oh, it's a problem with with black folks in particular. I don't even know how you even try to reduce it to that, but that's the thing with idiots. You're not supposed to understand idiots because you're probably one too if you do. So I don't understand them. So it's good not to understand. But yeah, man, I definitely think that Bud should be a bigger star, and I don't get why people don't like him, but it's just because fans are crazy. You know, it's the same reason why people don't like Devin Haney, and Devin Haney got cheated. You know what I'm saying? Now that has something to do with your complexion. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that people not liking Terrence Crawford, especially black folks not liking Terrence Crawford because he's black, is stupid. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. come from a person who's probably the dumbest person in every single social circle that he's in his life, you know. But yeah, Top Rank didn't really. The thing about Top Rank, I think, is that, how can I say this? Top Rank doesn't really help you unless you are up and coming, you know, and even then you could still not be helped, right, by Top Rank, because, like, for example, like Top Rank helped Edgar Berlanga a lot, right? Top Rank is good at molding and creating stars. I don't think they're good at keeping or sustaining someone's stardom, you know, if that makes sense. So like Edgar Berlanga, right? He had his first run with Top Rank, right? Going 16-0 with 16 first round knockouts, boom. You know, and then once he gets to a certain star power, then you naturally branch out. Like the guys that they keep, that they do good with, is seldom and few and far between. Like they keep Lomachenko, right? And even look at that Teofimo right now, right? He's having an issue with Top Rank, and Teofimo's another dumbass too. But you know, but still, with that being said, he's having issues with Top Rank once your stardom starts to grow. Even Shakur Stevenson, right? They kind of, according to Shakur Stevenson, and I tend to agree with him, they kind of sabotage his career, right, by not giving him Raymond Murataya, by not giving him, obviously, Lomachenko. And these guys are easy. These are easy fights to facilitate because they're both on Top Rank, the same promotion. And then what does he do? He naturally leaves, which I thought was a good decision to leave. So Top Rank, I agree with Team Slime, that Top Rank doesn't really help stars. They help young careers like Abdullah Mason, like Xander Zayas, like Emiliano Vargas. But don't be surprised if all three of them leave. Don't be surprised if you find Emiliano Vargas makes his way to Golden Boy or PBC. Don't be surprised if Abdullah Mason makes his way to Matchroom or I don't know, hell, Boxer or something, or Queensberry. Not Queensberry. I'm just, you know, because Queensberry doesn't really have a presence in American boxing. But let's say, don't be surprised if Abdullah ends up on PBC or not Top Rank, or Matchroom or Golden Boy too, or who's the other guy? Emiliano Vargas, Xander Zayas. Don't be surprised. Well, Xander Zayas might stay, because Xander Zayas, you know, Top Rank has a history of favoring a young Puerto Rican star. You know what I'm saying? Now Edgar Berlanga is young in Puerto Rican too, but let's be honest, he doesn't have as much promise or as much ceiling as a Xander. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, so Xander's eyes might stay, but I wouldn't be surprised if Emiliano Vargas and Abdullah Mason make their way up out of Top Rank. My guy Oscar, big member in the building. Shout out to my guy Oscar Perez. Yes, sir. But yeah, man, I think yeah, I don't know, man. Like yeah, I said what I needed to say with the Terrence Crawford stuff, man. I don't really get how people don't like him, but what I'm laughing at is the Devin Haney curse, bro. The Devin Haney curse is like real, bro. I don't. The Devin Haney curse is crazy, bro. Devin Haney curse is wild. At this point, I don't know how you could deny it. I don't know how you could deny the Devin Haney curse, man. I think not deny. I mean, not like I said, I don't believe in a curse. So deny it, yes, but I don't see how you could not think it's funny. I think that joke is hilarious, bro. Like I ain't gonna lie. The next person I see, I'm gonna be looking out for it now. Like anybody who talks trash about Devin Haney, I wanna see what they talking about in regards to how they win, you know, if they win and how they perform, I should say, because I think that is funny, man. I think that is hilarious. I think that joke is hilarious, man. But chat, man, shout out to y'all, man. I might be back on for the late show. We shall see. But I want shout out to my guy James Daly. I do go look up some interviews with Liam Paro and go check out him when he said about Devin Haney in regards to the PEDs, bro. He definitely was dismissive of it. And if I find it, I will put it in the. Are you in the Discord, James? I don't know if you're in the Discord, but if you are in the Discord, if I find it, I'll drop it for you. But yeah, just do your research on that, man. Do your research, bro. He was very dismissive about the amount being insignificant. Well, yes, sir, my guy. Anybody got any plans for Memorial Day? Whatever you do, don't forget to, what I'm saying, show some love for those that, sacrifice for our freedoms. Yes, sir. He said work and drink. I feel that, man. So yeah, y'all be easy, man. I'm about to go get me some. We just got some work in. I'm about to go get me some eats, man. Some eats. I'll be back on. Don't forget to check out the videos we dropped yesterday. We always get it in. We always get that work in, man. So check out the videos that we dropped yesterday. Like the videos as well. Like this video as well. And I'm about to go ahead and call it, man. I appreciate y'all rocking. I'm gonna go see. I might go work out and stuff like that after I eat as well, man. But yeah, we are growing, man. So let's keep it going and keep it growing. Let's keep it let's keep it going and growing. Let's get to this goal, man. We try to get 3K subscribers. We shall get there. Good Lord willing. And oh yeah, also one thing I want to talk about too is this Benavidez stuff, man. I think Benavidez. I do want to say this before I slide. My uncle died in World War II. He was one of the original Tuskegee. Shout out to Red, man. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you. Hey, rest in peace to your uncle, man. And yes, sir. Let's not forget the Memorial Day. I know we excited about having the time off and having the day off. If you have the day off and spending time with our families and loved one, cookouts, barbecues. But so just throw a little prayer and a little thanks for those like Running Reb's uncle, man, and all our fallen soldiers that not like I said, not just the soldiers, not just the ones that internationally and fought conflicts, but also ones that protect and fight conflicts on the domestic level too. No matter what you do, as civilians too, man. There's a lot of civilian heroes. So rest in peace. Remember our fallen soldiers and our condolences to my guy Reb and everybody. So my guy Reb, sincere condolences, man. So yeah. Definitely. But also too, what y'all think about the David Benavidez stuff, man? David Benavidez, I'm not gonna lie, in regards to David Benavidez, I did want to talk about this, and I'm gonna go. David Benavidez fighting in Alcatraz, man. With Turk Al-Sheikh, right? I'm glad he put his foot down. I'm not saying that I want to see him work with Turk, but at the same time, I think that these fighters should be comfortable. If you don't want to go to Alcatraz and fight, what's wrong with that? He said he wants to have the traditional experience for the fans, them be able to attend the fight. He doesn't like going and he said he thinks it's a cool idea and stuff like that, but he said he doesn't want it for him. And I think some people will look at it as him trying to duck being involved with Turkey Al-Sheikh, but I don't really think that's the issue, man. I don't think everything is for everybody. And I think that David Benavidez turning it down and standing on what he wants to do, I think that's pretty dope, man. And same with the same with Gervonta Tank Davis and whoever else, not necessarily to oppose Turk. I want them all to work with Turk because I think Turk is right now. Turk is facilitating these great fights between the fighters that we want to see, but at the same time too, everything is not about just money, right? Money is a big resource that we need, but sometimes you want to have the fan experience, you want to have things a certain way, and when you are making money, a large lump sum of money, and you're able, then you should be able to choose what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And these guys, I don't think that they should just do whatever someone tells them to do, no matter who it is. There's no authoritarian in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And so I don't have a problem with him not wanting to fight in Alcatraz. But I do want to see Dave Benavidez in the ring soon, man. I'm hoping we can see him against either Callum Smith or Anthony Yard. I'll drop that video, go check it out. But yeah, man, I just want to touch that real quick. Yeah, cool idea, but I don't really, yeah, exactly. I don't really care for it either, Oscar. I think it's a cool idea, but you know, now if a fighter wants to do it, go do it. But if a fighter doesn't want to do it, I don't think that we should demonize that or knock it or be mad at it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's cool. If you don't want to do it, don't want to do it. I don't think it means anything else besides that not want to do it. There's some stuff that I'm sure you wouldn't want to do. There's some stuff that I wouldn't want to do. You know what I'm saying? No matter what it is. Like if someone, like I already told y'all, you know, the stuff I stand on business. And if you don't stand on something, you fall for anything. So there's some people that, as much as I want to interview some boxers, there's some boxers I have no desire to interview. And if they ask me, I don't care how big they are, I would tell them no, because I wouldn't want to do it. You see what I'm saying? And I'm in that business. So I don't see everything to be business, and money doesn't trump everything, you know what I'm saying? And exposure and all this stuff. Like, yeah, of course, there's some fighters that would be like, oh yeah, man, I think that'd be dope because they are popular, but in my opinion, they're popular for the wrong reasons, and I don't want to be associated with that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't overlook that, you know, because like I said, yeah, I know I pretty much have a pretty good temperature of what I could tolerate and what I wouldn't tolerate, and I don't tolerate nonsense, and I don't think that I should overlook things, because I feel like that's weak. I feel like that's weakness. I feel like that's pussy. I ain't gonna lie, especially from a man. If you think that everything is about exposure and everything is about publicity and everything's about likes and whatever, then I think that it shows that you don't stand for anything, and I think that's a weak character, you know. And eventually it'll come back to you. You know, so yeah, so there's some people that in the boxing world, no matter how popular they are, I wouldn't want to talk to. So, and there's some things like if you're boxing, you know, no matter how much money, you just don't want to fight in Alcatraz. You want to fight in good old Vegas, you feel me? But yeah, man, that's it for me, man. I appreciate y'all rocking as always. I might be back on for the late show. We'll see if there's anything else to talk about. If I can come up with some clever ideas or what I think is clever, then we might be back on for the late show. We may not be. Don't be surprised if you don't catch me, you know what I'm saying? But we might be. And I definitely should be dropping a video, though, because I have an idea for a video, something I want to cover. So, yeah, y'all be easy. Take care of yourselves. Don't forget to smack that like button. But most importantly, remember, with God, we can do anything. Without God, we are nothing. And don't forget, man, you got to forgive people, man. I know it's hard. We're not perfect. It's hard for me too, but you got to forgive in order for the good Lord to forgive you. You know what I'm saying? And we all want forgiveness. So we got to put out what we want. You know what I'm saying? We want to put out what we want to get back. So y'all be easy. Take care of yourselves. Be easy. Peace. The doctor's out.
From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.